first again?
Sure, yeah. So hi everyone, I'm Hannah McFarlane. I'm the communications coordinator for Compass. So I work with intern communications, so linking everybody within the organization together so everyone feels part of the big Compass umbrella. Even though our programs are geographically diverse, we have programs across Durham region, City of Kawartha Lakes, Peterborough City and County, Minden and Haliburton County, and Cobourg in Northumberland County. So we are spread out, but we're all part of the same large organization. And so I support people to feel connected and to have the access to the information that they need. And then I also support the external communications. So the social media platforms for our organization, communicating with parents, and just kind of whatever else needs to be done.
And my name's Ryan. I'm a member of our HR team here at Compass. I've been with the organization for about 3 years now, and I predominantly work with supporting through the recruitment process, so interviews and hiring, and then with the onboarding process through orientation.
Hi everyone, my name is Jackie Barch and I'm a member of our HR team here at Compass. I've been with the organization for about 8 months now, and I work primarily with our supply educators with the recruitment and onboarding, and as well as with our apprenticeship students.
Hello, I'm Jenny Cullen, and I am a Human Resources Link with the organization. I work with the HR team. I'm part of the Link team. I've been with the organization for 20 years, and I've been in this role for about 10 years. And yeah, looking forward to meeting you all.
Okay, so we're going to start here with a quick welcome video. So I'm just going to transition my screen over to that.
Compass Early Learning and Care has been in operation since 1981 and has grown from a licensed home childcare program to a large umbrella organization which offers childcare programs in the City and County of Peterborough, City of Kawartha Lakes, Durham Region, Northumberland County, and Haliburton County. At Compass Early Learning and Care, our programs offer a place for exploration, wonder, and rich learning opportunities discovered through children's play. In partnership with families and children, we provide a child-centered, emergent curriculum that fosters and promotes the development of the whole child. Our days are guided by the interests of the children and carefully framed and negotiated by our educators and staff. Our strong view of children as capable, competent, and curious about the world around them guides in the way in which we design our environments, experiences, and interactions. We see curriculum as everything that happens in our days and consider each moment as an opportunity to build relationships and create an atmosphere that nurtures children and adults. We hold children and childhood in deep regard.
We believe that we are all of fundamental equal worth and encourage each member of our community to contribute in their distinctive way, appreciating the differences in roles, backgrounds, interests, skills, and points of view. We are committed to creating an environment where people feel free to fully express themselves, tapping into their passion and creativity.
With our school-age programs, like with all the other programs that we offer, we are interest-based and child-led. So that requires a degree of flexibility on the part of the educators who work with us, in that you have to be ready on the tip of your toes at any moment to make adaptations to the programming based on where the children are taking it. It is wonderful that we put such a focus on pedagogy and on Ontario's curriculum, because we're more than just a rec program. We're not just a drop-in center. We're not just somewhere where children go to kill time. We are a place for children to learn and grow in ways that are meaningful to them.
We believe that trust and relationships are the foundation of all that we do, and we seek to build respectful, authentic relationships with our colleagues, children, families, and communities. We take responsibility to bring our best selves to our relationships and our work, and trust that those around us do as well.
We value a sense of personal responsibility and believe that we share accountability for our organization, our individual practice, and for the work we do with children, families, and communities. We believe that freedom and accountability are two sides of the same coin.
We believe in the power of collaboration, knowing that we will expand our thinking, deepen our understandings, and come to the best decisions by working together. We value transparency and believe that each of us has a right and responsibility to access information that contributes to the power of our collective intelligence.
I feel like relationships are a foundation of my program. I feel like relationships in general are a foundation for life. It takes a village to raise a child, and I am a very important piece to somebody else's village, and those families are an important part of my village as well, and I don't take that for granted.
We value learning as an opportunity to engage both emotionally and intellectually, deepen our own practice, and enrich the quality of experiences for children, families, communities, and ourselves. We believe that every interaction is an invitation to learn and grow together.
I really can't describe the feeling of dropping Alora off and literally having no worries. Dropping her off with Nicole, I know that Nicole loves her like I love her. I know that she's respected and listened to and nurtured.
Okay, so we're just going to talk a little bit more about Compass's history and a bit more about who we are as an organization. So Compass is a progressive nonprofit childcare organization. We began operations in 1981 as a licensed home childcare program. And since the 30 plus years since we opened, we have really grown into a large umbrella organization, like Hannah had mentioned earlier. So currently we're located out of 5 different regions and municipalities, and we have 36 different childcare locations. So I'm going to pull up a map on the next slide here. And these are where all of our full day locations are located. So it doesn't show our school age ones, but we are, as you can see on here, we're located in Peterborough, Millbrook, Ennismore, Bowmanville, Curtis, Coburg, Minden, Lindsay, Bethany. I think I got them all there, but I might have missed one or two. So we're in the Durham region, Peterborough City and County, City of Kawartha Lakes, Haliburton, and Northumberland. Okay, so over the last 30 plus years, we've grown a lot as an organization, and we've continued to grow. And part of that journey and part of that growth has been our mission and vision, and those have stayed central to our organization throughout the years, and they've been something that we've been able to lean on and use to help guide us. So our mission, Compass Early Learning and Care, is a progressive nonprofit organization where we work collaboratively to provide excellence in early learning and care. The richness and uniqueness of our learning environments are an invitation for adults and children to discover together the joy of learning. And our vision. Compass Early Learning and Care envisions a place where children are valued as citizens of today, where the principles of democracy guide our relationships with children, families, colleagues, and our communities. And along with our vision and mission, our values have always stayed central to our organization. So you can see our organizational values and beliefs here on the right-hand side of the screen, and the work of our organization as a whole is guided by these values. They really shape the way that we approach childcare, and they shape the way we carry out our work and the way we work with each other and build relationships. Sorry, one second. I don't know what's going on.
So heartfelt, Ryan.
Sorry, I didn't close YouTube, so it started auto-playing a video. Oh, my apologies, everyone. So our values are really at the core of our organization, and they influence everything we do as an organization. And one of the things that we're always really proud to talk about is that our values aren't just something we preach, but they're something we truly do live into, and there's something that you can really see each of our programs and educators living into as well. So we hope for those of you who do join us possibly in the future and any career opportunities that you get to be a part of these as well, and you get to represent and see these values. Okay, and our organizational values have also helped shape our organizational structure. So I'll pass it over to Jenny here.
Thanks, Ryan. And just to touch on what Ryan said, that all of our practices and what we do are shaped by our values. And so one of the things that we noticed in 2017 was that our organizational structure was a real hierarchy pyramid, and it was something that didn't align with our values of collective intelligence and equal worth. So we are researchers and lifelong learners. So we dug into some research, and we were inspired by this book called Reinventing Organizations, and it's by Frederick Laloux. It's a guide to creating organizations inspired by the next stage of human consciousness. And we really connected with this book. We didn't take it Word. We got inspired by it, and we had the values and had the culture at Compass to be able to explore other structures that were more aligned with equal worth and collective intelligence. So our structure differs a little bit. It's horizontal instead of the hierarchy. And with that structure comes distributed leadership in the way that we are with each other. So distributed leadership is giving the opportunity for all of our Compass team to be able to come to work every day and find joy in their work, live into their passions, value-based, strength-based, live into their strengths, and really seeing that everyone is a leader in this organization. And I'll talk just a little overview about our culture at Compass. So you'll see on the screen here, these are all components of our unique culture at Compass. I say that, I know, sounds like a tongue twister. Components of it are feedback. We want to have feedback, consistent, gratitude, coaching and mentoring culture, and then obviously distributed leadership in there. So we practice gratitude. We give feedback consistently so that we can grow. We know feedback helps us grow. And then we also are on our journey with diversity, equity, and inclusivity, inclusive workplace. And we've been working at this for a couple of years anyway. It started off with the communities of practice and now is a network. So we've been able to connect with Community Race Relations, the Friendship Center, the New Canadian Center. And you'll see a lot of this in our professional development that's inspiring our work and taking our words and our thoughts into action.
And along with our organizational structure, we also look at supporting staff and retaining staff and allowing people the availability and the opportunities to grow through professional development opportunities and through their strengths and their passions. And so because of that, we just wanted to share a brief snapshot from our last AGM of our staff numbers here. So our turnover ratio, Compass maintains a low turnover rate with permanent staff. So it's actually only 8.4%, which is quite low. And when this snapshot was taken, we had about 358 active staff. So by position, that was 235 permanent educators and staff, 5 permanent supply, 62 contract, and 56 supply. As you can see, we always try to hire for permanent when we can. And we believe that that allows us to support people through their journeys and through their lives. And we love being able to keep people who align with our organization and who feel like their personal values align with ours as well. And then by role, we had 108 RECE, 171 non-RECE, 67 admin staff, 11 nutrition specialists, and 1 cleaner or maintenance. So there's also a lot of different opportunities at Compass. Whether you are an RECE or not an RECE, we're really looking for people who are passionate about early learning and care and passionate about all those values that we shared earlier. So there's definitely opportunities for a lot of different roles here. So next we'll talk about our total person compensation at Compass. So I'll just kind of go around the circle here. And if anyone does have questions at any point during this slide as well, please don't hesitate to ask. So we'll start with childcare. So at Compass, our employees do receive a 20% off discount per child that you have that is in our care. Our benefits, and that is for both contract and perm staff. And then for permanent staff, our benefits package includes extended health coverage, dental insurance, employee assistance program, wellness program, and a few other perks in there. So there's an RRSP, there's also health spendings, which a lot of people will use for eye care. Everyone coming into the organization, so as of this year, both perm and contract will start accruing vacation time at a rate of 4%. And then they'll also get 2 weeks off of personal sick time. And then we also have a number of different networks. So part of our organizational value and really allowing everyone to live into this collaborative distributed leadership is the opportunity to have networks where we can come together and connect. And so within those networks, I'll kind of list a few here that we do have at the organization, but within those networks, it really provides a chance for everyone to connect who is passionate about that or has a strength in that. And it allows us to connect across the municipalities as well. So rather than just meeting with the people in the Peterborough region, if you're in Peterborough, it allows you that opportunity to connect with people in Durham or in CKL or in Minden. So some of the networks that we do have, we have a DEI network. So for diversity, we have a relationship network, health and safety, materials, outdoor initiative, and a compensation network. And in our compensation network, that is where we look at our employee benefits. And one of the things that we're actually looking at in that network is the pension plan. And so that is something that we don't have yet, but it's something that we're hoping to introduce in the next couple of years. Unfortunately, we did have it on track, and when COVID hit, it has delayed us a bit, but the hope is within the next few years, we will be able to introduce that. And then along with networks, we also have extensive professional development opportunities. And that's amazing that so many of you are passionate about lifelong learning. So here at Compass, we actually offer out 2 extensive PD calendars a year. Usually it's one in the spring, one in the fall. We used to do it in the winter, but we found it was a little too hard with driving. And now that everything's on Zoom, we are able to offer out more opportunities in the winter than we were previous. But it is a really great opportunity to learn about the newest practices and once again to collaborate and continue that lifelong journey. And so there's tons of different opportunities there, and we always encourage our staff to partake in whatever they're interested in. And along with that, we also support our staff with external professional development opportunities when they come up as well. So we also have a competitive wage. So I just shared our wage grid up here on the screen. For educators who are new to the organization and coming in as a non-ECE, our starting rate is $17.87 plus an additional wage enhancement provided by the government. So that's an additional $2. And for our ECEs, so people who are registered with the college, starting rate is $18.87 plus WEG. And then along with that, we do have additional premiums as well, especially so for our school age staff. We know that split shifts can be tricky and they're not everyone's choice, but for people who are really passionate and are really, really strong about working with school age children, we like to help compensate them, especially for doing that split shift because they are such long days. And so we have a 75-cent premium for the Peterborough and City of Kawartha Lakes region. And then for our Durham region, because it is a higher living wage up there, they get $1.50 on top of that. And then as well, we also have some on-call educators. And so they will go around to different locations depending on what program needs them for that day, and they will get an additional 50 cents. So we don't have as many of those roles, the on-call ones, but there is a premium for that as well. And what does our hiring process look like? So I'm sure you're all really interested about this slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show up our website here and go through our current opportunities and walk you through what you have to do to apply and then what the hiring process looks like. So I'm just going to transition over here to our Compass website. Okay, so this is what our main page, the main page on our website looks like. So if you are looking for career opportunities, you'll go over here to these 3 lines at the side, and you'll go down to careers, and then you'll go down to current opportunities. And like I said, so this is where we post all of our positions first, and then we will also post them up on Indeed as well. So you can read a bit more about the organization. And then if you scroll down, you'll see click here to apply. So I'll show you this form in just a second. And then below it is all of our current opportunities. And so we do have them listed per region. We've found that's a bit easier for people to navigate through. So for Peterborough City and County, you can see we do have a few positions up right now. So if you are in the Peterborough region, we list the location that it's at, the city it's in, the position title, whether it's contract or permanent, hours per week, etc. Obviously, the positions are subject to change per year. So if they are listed as contract, it doesn't mean we won't hire for permanent. And like we talked about earlier, we do try to offer permanency when we can. And so part of that is offering permanency within the organization and not at a set location. So a lot of the times we like to look at it as a contract for a location, but permanent for the organization since we are so large and since there's always that need for educators. So we also have some postings up in our City of Kawartha Lakes regions. So Woodville, Bethany, and Lindsay. We have a posting up in our Durham region, a posting up in our Northumberland County, so Cobourg, and then we also have a couple up in Minden. So besides the postings that we have up here, we also have supply opportunities, and Jackie will talk about that in just a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to scroll back up here. So if you do see a position that you're interested in, or if you're ever just curious and want to send us an email, you can reach us at careers@compasselc.com. So if you want to send a resume and cover letter, you can choose that route, or you can apply directly on our website through our application form. So if you click here to apply, it'll bring you to a new page. Here we go. So it just asks for some basic information: your name, last name, email, phone number, the position and location you're looking for. So if you're not looking for a set position or role, sorry, but you're looking for a specific region, you can just type in the region. And then we have some reflective questions down at the bottom. You'll notice that the questions we ask in the hiring process are a little different than other organizations. We like to connect them back to our values, and we like to see them as a reflective process. It gives us an opportunity to get to know your disposition, your values, what's drawn you to want to work with children. And so we ask a few of those prior to the interview. So if you send in your resume and cover letter, we'll send the questions beforehand. And then for those individuals who are successful in that process and join us for the interviews, they are conducted on Zoom right now. We hope to do them in person again in the future, and we send out the questions beforehand as well for the interview. And the big part for that is because we want to try to create a less stressful environment with the interviews, and we want to give everyone the opportunity to reflect on the questions beforehand. We've all been through that process before, where you go to an interview, you don't know the questions, you're really nervous. It can be intimidating, and so we hope to try to alleviate some of that. So we send those out beforehand, and it's usually about 10 to 13 questions. And they're fairly reflective. And then at the end, we ask if you have any questions for us. And we love when people bring us questions to think about the role, or to ask us why we're interested in, or why we like working at Compass. And that's always a great opportunity to get to know everyone. And with our interviews as well. So there's usually a few of us on the panel. Generally, it's one of us from HR. So either Jackie, myself, or Jenny. And then there's usually 1 or 2 program leads with us as well. And why we do that is because we want to have a collaborative process in our interview process. And we want to be able to include a few different voices, especially since we're not going to be the ones who are with you at program every day. So we love bringing in our program leads and some educators into that process, so they get to meet you beforehand. And so they get to ask some questions and get to know the individuals who may be joining them and joining their team. So Jackie, I'm going to pass it over to you now for supply.
Thanks, Ryan. So another opportunity we have here at Compass is supply educator roles, and supply educators are an essential part of our team here at Compass. As a supply educator, you provide support for our programs by covering for absences, vacancies, and extra coverage when needed. And this allows our programs to all remain fully staffed and provide the children in our programs with quality care. And as a supply educator, you're able to work at all of our different programs. And this allows you to create relationships with different groups of educators, children, and their families. This is a little bit different right now because of COVID. We're trying to keep our groups small. So right now, supply educators are sticking within one region, whether that be Kawartha Lakes, Peterborough, or Durham, Cobourg. But we hope that once it's safe to do so, all of our supply educators can go to any programs they choose to go to. One of the big benefits of this role is that it's very flexible and allows you to create your own schedule and choose which locations you want to work at. So it's a great option for anyone who is a student or balancing other commitments. And then for those who do have open availability, as a supply educator, you are able to work up to 40 hours a week, depending on your availability and the availability of shifts. We just ask that anyone who comes on our team as a supply educator commits to working 2 shifts a month where possible. And then another great thing about the supply educator position is that we're always accepting applications for this role. And we typically conduct group interviews every other week or so. Since many of our supply educators do move into contract or permanent roles within our organization, there's a constant need for more supply staff. another opportunity we have coming up is Canada Summer Jobs. So for anyone looking for summer employment specifically, this is a great opportunity. And these are positions that are funded by the government. And these are typically contracts that are 35 hours a week over 8 weeks. And so to be eligible for one of these positions, you must be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident between the ages of 18 and 30. So we just received a bunch of funding for that. So if that is something where you fall into that criteria and you're interested in, keep a lookout on our website because we will be hiring for those shortly. And it's a great opportunity because many Canada Summer Jobs hires, they continue with our organization after the 8 weeks has ended. This includes myself and Ryan. We both started in those roles and we're still here. And then another opportunity we do have as a part of our commitment to lifelong learning is we will sponsor any employee who wishes to complete their child development practitioner apprenticeship. So this is an amazing opportunity to grow your practice and understanding of early childhood education. And completing your apprenticeship opens the door for further opportunities within our organization as well. So if you join us here at Compass, you would have the option of starting your apprenticeship, or if anyone happens to be in the midst of completing it, you would be able to transfer it over to us while you finish it. And then for anyone who joins our organization in a permanent capacity or becomes permanent, we do reimburse up to $2,000 for the cost of the child development practitioner apprenticeship. So that's something to look out for if you do come into the organization, because that's a great opportunity to take advantage of.
So we did ask our staff team about why they like to work at Compass. And so this is one of the quotes that we got back. "I love being a supply educator at Compass as I get to meet so many amazing children and educators. The dynamic of each room and center is so different, and being able to be a part of each one is a great opportunity."
Working with the school age team at Compass CELC has allowed me to have an enriched relationship with the children, staff, and families who are in my care. Although having a split shift may be daunting, having a break in the middle of the day helps the day fly by. I'm working a quick 7 to 9 a.m. shift in the morning, able to get refreshed and come in at 3 to 6 p.m. with new and exciting ideas for children. And that's an accolade from Taylor, who is with our school age team, who loves working a split shift.
So we have lots of ways that you can connect with us after this meeting. We'd love to hear from you on any of our social media platforms about, what you learned tonight, what you're interested in or excited about that you learned. Yeah, we just would love to hear back from you.
Okay, and now we would like to open it up to any questions that any of you may have for us or about any of the positions that we currently have posted.
I have a question about the orientation process and how long that process is.
Yeah, that's a great question. So our orientation process, usually it's about 5 hours in length. It used to be in person, which we love doing it in person. And it's like the interviews, it's something we hope to do again in the soon future. Right now it is on Zoom. So we typically go for about 2.5 hours, and then we do about a 40-minute lunch break. And then we come back for about 2.5 hours. It's usually 10 to 3.
And
Great.
Ryan, you do it about every week or so, right? So if someone applies and gets an interview, they would be able to do the orientation fairly quickly after getting that offer, right?
Yeah, so we do have a really quick hiring process in regards to orientation. We hold them every Wednesday, actually. And it's just an outstanding thing that we have open. And generally, like Jackie said, we do supply interviews every other week. So it usually lines up with our orientations, which is amazing. And yeah, so typically after the interview, and I should have talked about this earlier, but we like to get back to people as soon as possible as well. And we also like to provide feedback for the interviews. Generally, I'd say at the longest, it usually 3 to 4 days, depending on how many days in a row we're interviewing for a specific location. Generally, we get back to people that within anywhere from a day to 3 days. We like to do it by the end of the week for sure, just so people aren't left hanging. But yeah, orientation as well as it's divided up throughout the day. So the first part is generally more information about the organization or culture or structure. And then the afternoon is more policy oriented. So it's a lot more about the practice in the classroom, any policies. We also do some interactive activities throughout as well, where we get to watch some videos in regards to observation with children. And we talk a lot about values also.
In addition to that as well, we also have a pedagogical orientation if you're successful in a role as an educator. And that's a 6-month process where you would work side by side with, well, not necessarily side by side these days, however it works out, with a pedagogical lead that will support you to work through, our pedagogic, it's called the Foundation Series. For the organization. So that's part of orientation too as an educator. And then when you go to, so for instance, if you're a supply and you're going to a couple of different programs, they'll give you an on-site orientation so that you're familiar with the program, where things are, where the health and safety board is. So on top of the day orientation, the overview of Compass and what you need to know for payroll and policies and things like that, there's also a on-site and then the pedagogical as well. Thank you. Please note too, if you have any questions that you think of after this, that you're like, oh, I wish I would have asked that, to definitely reach out.
And the email is on the careers page as well. So if you forget it, or if you forget to save it after this call, you can check back there, and it has our careers email, and it also has the extension to my extension on there. And with us not working in the office right now, you can leave a voicemail, and then you can let me know if it's easier to get back to you over the phone. I'm more than happy to give you a call, or I can respond via email.
So thanks everyone for coming. It's really nice to not just be talking to ourselves, actually to have people here to listen. So thanks for coming, and thanks for your interest in Compass. And we really hope to get to know all of you more soon.